Lotto Destiny now taking the responsibility of forcing the pace on the left-hand side of the road, just keeping the pressure on. Victor Campenaerts is looking around. Gianni Moscon might come to his aid riding for Astana. Other than that, though, Ineos Grenadiers, Jumbo-Visma and UAE Team Emirates aren't going to be bringing this one back for a sprint. So at the moment, it's really Lotto Destiny who are taking the responsibility at this stage, just outside 10k to go.
It's just amazing watching those kilometres just click by so quickly. And that's how pelotons get caught out, because you just at this speed it all just gets, it's like someone just hit a fast forward button.
Jaco Alula now moving to the front in the white and blue. There they are, and they're riding for Dylan Groenewegen, who hasn't been that competitive so far. He was briefly involved in, was it stage 3, was it, where Caleb Ewan appeared to just hamper him a little bit in the sprint, but to be honest, he wasn't looking as if he was going to win the stage or even place on the podium even then. So we haven't seen the best yet of their Dutch sprinter.
Astana there on the left, led by Lutsenko. Still in a good position, another Astana rider. Astana doing a good job today. Just making sure that Mark Cavendish is getting a good ride for as long as possible, because I'm not sure how much they'll be able to contribute in the final lead-outs. They're trying to just make sure they can deliver him so that he can then use the other teams to his advantage.
It's going to be a very, very long and hard final 10 kilometres for these two riders. Their advantage now has shrunk to 27 seconds. They will continue, and wouldn't be at all surprised to see Pierre Latour try and go on a long-range attack. Latour stretching that back out now, inside. Well, Wilco Kelderman hits the front from Jumbo-Visma, and that is the city of Bordeaux. And look at that cruise ship there. That's the bridge with those old arches over which they will come. So they'll come on the right-hand side embankment as you look at it, pass over that bridge, and then dive down onto the embankment and line themselves up for a sweeping right-handed finish over the last kilometre and a half.
Still the GC teams that are controlling the peloton. Jaco Alula, the only team there. It's Luke Durbridge there. You can see just flat out, just trying to hold position there. And that's, you can see, it just burns through riders. The moment they hit the front at this speed, they haven't got much time to stay on there.
13 seconds is very, very marginal indeed now for these two, with 8.1 kilometres to go. And you're right, David, about how quickly the kilometres tick by.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Me, me, me. Me, me, me. Me, me, me. No, I can go quite low. And I can go really high.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, Greg. Hello, Damien. 1, 2, 3, 4. Didn't have any breakfast. I did have a delicious pork and dill ball. Yeah. You don't like the Tour de France? There's on delay today.
I think we could do better. I think we could do lots better.
So, do you want to play the Rsdio wall first?
Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, why not?
Shall I play you a string?
Portobello Radio.
Great, 1, 2, 3, 4. You are listening to Portobello Radio, coming live and direct from the Muse Gallery, episode 400. Get the Prosecco and cake in.
Have you got... No, the first song's going to be...
Hello.
Okay, cool.
Not quite. We're going to be Any Mo. Any Mo now.
My beer drinking colleagues who seem to like drink loads.
Hello, darling. Did you bring them?
Yeah,
You're amazingly generous.
I happen to have a few quid in my bag. Not for long though, so while
No,
I've got
take
it.
advantage. Take
Exactly,
advantage of what
so I
you
want
have.
it.
Hello, lovely. How are you? Hi, Nick. Good. Happy to see you. Yeah, man. Yeah, great.
I'll go listen.
Oh, please do. Please do.
I love Portobello Radio. Probably the best radio station in Ledbroke Grove.
Yes, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for... Well, no one's voted us the best radio station in Ladbroke Grove. We just claim it. You're listening to the Portobello Radio Show, episode 400.
No way!
It's
No
coming live
way.
from the Muse.
400 years old today.
Yeah, and you know what 400 years means. We're coming live from the Muse Gallery. It's the last week of the residency show. We've got Emma Dent Code coming on the show.
Oh, my people, they roam those ancient fairs, bringing stories and the Muse, and they try to stop our ways. The spirit of a people they are trying to erase. Oh, my people, don't let them bring you down, because your rich history is written on every stone in every town. Oh, my people, hands of change. I can hear the lullaby of the bell pecker dawn, with the teardrop in his eyes. Johnny Keenan and Teddy Fury and old John Riley too. You were the guardians of our culture, and we will always remember you. Oh, my people, don't let them bring you down, because your rich history is written on every stone in every town. My people, don't let them keep you down, because your rich history is paved on every road in every town. With her banjo and those ancient Gaelic airs of the piper Pat Cash, he passed the flame down through the years to Johnny Doran and Felix, those gypsy piper kings. You inspire generations, and your names we'll forever sing. My people, don't let them bring you down, because your rich history is written on every stone in every town. My people, don't let them keep you down, because your rich history is written on every road in every town. My people, don't let them bring you down, because your rich history is written on every stone in every town.
Ooh, what a tune. That's amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. We had the pleasure of having him perform live with us down at the Irish Cultural Centre in Hammersmith. If you guys haven't listened to one of those shows yet, then you need to get involved, man, because it's such a cracker. We've got a new one coming out next Thursday. Thursday
indeed.
coming, man. It's just going to be mentaloid, absolutely mentaloid.
And
I've got a question for Piers.
Yeah.
What's
No.
Thursday in Gaelic?
Ooh, that is a question.
How Irish are you, Piers?
Yeah.
What's Thursday now, my man? He's going to find it before the end
Well,
of the
if you
show.
want to
Well,
learn,
hopefully.
if you want to learn the Irish language, of course, you can sign up for Irish language courses at the Irish Cultural Centre, and it's unbelievably popular. There's a waiting list of about 100 people.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's being reclaimed. I mean,
It
you
is
know.
being reclaimed.
Besides,
It has.
is it Ciad Mafalti? Welcome. Besides that,
Yeah.
which everybody knew, and Pogue Mahog. I think,
Pogue
I
Mahog.
think it's actually
Yeah.
like a language. People are really recognising it's important to. Oh, I'm popping. It's important to claim.
Yeah.
To claim that language.
One of the things you'll learn from the various episodes of Bright Side of the Road, which is our collab with the Irish Cultural Centre, is that the Irish language is one of the things that was saved in London.
Oh yes.
Because we, the Brits, were cracking down on we, the Irish, and had pretty much driven the Irish language out of common usage. And it was
In Ireland, yes.
In Ireland, it was the Irish immigrants in London.
Who
so it was
kept
kind of like a
kept the
political
flame alive.
statement
Kept
of
the flame
identity
alive.
kind of thing.
And
Yeah.
the same
Kind
is
of like
true.
the afro and the
Yeah.
resurgence of the hijab,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
niqab and all that sort of thing, where people are making a stand when you're trying to kind of, erase their culture as well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway,
man, no, absolutely. It's one of the few things we could be proud of, actually. That and trad. Apparently Irish trad we also kept alive here in London town. So, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely
Good old
brilliant.
London.
Yeah,
Good
well,
old London.
weirdly enough, for all the horribleness that is the British Isles and indeed the old...
So is it a case of what did London ever do for us?
Yeah.
Preserve the Irish language.
Yeah,
yeah?
absolutely.
And
Preserve the
Irish
Irish
music.
culture. Yes,
Anyway,
absolutely.
Rsdio is back in September. He's playing at the Irish Cultural Centre.
Brilliant.
You should grab a ticket.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
not quite sure they've set the date yet. And he will be back on one of our shows. And hopefully we're going to take him down to the Travellers site in Stable Way.
No, really? Is that the plan?
Oh, well, it's a plan. We have loads of plans.
We always do. Whether they come into fruition
There are
is
no
another
ponies for
story.
you to ride, though, Greg, just in
Anyway.
case you're getting a bit excited. All the ponies have gone.
I mean, back in the day, Chris and I planned to just go and play music for 2 hours on a Friday afternoon up there at K2K, and look at us now. 400
yay.
shows later.
Yeah, man.
You
Did we
make
say-
it all about you, don't you,
Yeah,
Piers?
man.
And we're
Did-
we're about to do our 4th festival of the summer.
You know that. Did we say it's our 400th episode?
Yeah.
So are we going to have a rendition of Happy Birthday? I mean, obviously,
There will
Stevie
be
Wonder's.
many,
It has to be a
many
Stevie
of
Wonder's
those.
verse.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
as the peeps are, gather here, we can get out the Prosecco, the cake, and we can all sing Happy Birthday.
Wait, where the candles?
Where the
candles?
400 candles.
Anyway, this is Bubbles. He didn't actually play at the Windrush Festival, but everyone wanted it.
Things keep moving, angels singing, times forsaken, I've been saying.
PortobelloRadio.com.
Everyone's got to
Tune in when
make
you get the
it
chance.
People are playing Sunday morning, who's been watching? The devil is coming. Everyone's got to make a living. People are praying, old folks dying, the birds are singing. Everyone's got to make a living. Who can solve the problem? Who can solve the problem? But there's nothing that would ever be so strange. See the day that everyone would say that living like it does not work. Things get moving Sunday morning. Who's been watching? The devil is coming. Everyone's got to make a living. That's life. Life. What's life? It's like a wonder bite. Depending on the stranger to drive along his back a child. That mind that doesn't know the fact. That's life. Oh yeah. That's life. Can't see that life ain't just not what it's worth.
I love Portobello Radio.
Yeah,
So, are we having sort of Wi-Fi difficulties? Just in
Yeah,
case?
so apologies to all of
Yeah.
you listening at home on a Friday. We're having intermittent issues with BT here at the Muse Gallery.
Is it the gremlins that are crawling around in the cable?
No, I think it's BT.
Oh, okay.
Good, but it won't happen tomorrow, and I'll spend hours tonight editing all this crap out.
Oh,
so let's not
Gregsy.
mention it again. There you go. Brilliant. Welcome back after that fantastic tune.
That is-
Gosh,
yeah.
it's an amazing
That
tune.
was the
that one.
20th Century Steel Band,
Isn't it?
of course, and that was Bubbles. Bubbles, who was the final performer at Windrush 75 up there on Portobello Green.
And he went down a storm.
Wicked.
went
They
down.
loved him.
Absolutely wicked. He was the final one. Did Smokey DJ after him or
I
before
think
him?
so, after.
After,
Yeah,
no,
after him.
after, yeah.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. I wish I could have stayed for the distance on that one, but hey,
But
hey.
you had other things to
No,
do.
Mr.
Greg.
I did. I had
Greg
a fish
And there
Time
will be
fry.
other Windrush events.
There
Yeah.
will.
There'll be
there will, but-
76,
Yes,
77,
exactly. I was going to say, but there's only
78.
175. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely
Anyway.
brilliant.
Greg, talking of which, how's your time off been? because you weren't here
Yeah, I
last
wasn't
week.
here last Friday, but I was-
It was strange.
preparing
I was
yourself.
overjoyed. Oh, bless you. It was strange. I was overjoyed to tune in. I was on Worthing Beach, and I thought, I'm just going to check to see how the guys are getting on. And this was like 2-3 minutes past 4. And you're already up and running.
Oh.
It's like you guys can time keep when I'm not around. But when
Well, look,
I am
you know,
around, we just get all
It's nothing to do
lackadaisical
with me.
again.
Now put it down to you
White man
guys.
time.
Well,
White
I don't
man
know.
time,
Well,
exactly. It's white man time.
Yeah, no. Well, White Man seemed to sort it out last week.
Yeah,
And how
we did well.
How did you tune in on the beach? Because
Yeah. On
I'm
my
sure a lot of
phone.
people listening on
But
their
what app
computers.
did you use? Did you go
You
onto
know
the
what? I just
website?
went to the website, absolutely, and hit the player button and play me on there, and that was absolutely fine. But of course, if there is any problems, I'm now beginning to realise that a lot of the older browsers on the mobile phones are not able to play our new player. We can always be found on the TuneIn website. When you click on TuneIn, there's a massive banner that says download the app. Ignore it. There's a little X in the top right-hand corner. Hit the X, and you go straight into us. No
Right.
worries at all. Yeah, so get involved. There's millions of ways of getting involved. I was setting up some lovely people in Richmond on Thursday with smart televisions, and every single smart TV came with a browser app which played our player absolutely beautifully. That was the way that I was
And
testing out the internet
can you set
connection
it
of
as a
these
favourite?
TVs. You can set it as a favourite. It's you
Great
know, you can
idea.
set it on your desktop. So man, yeah, you can get it on smart TVs, you can get it on smart radios, you can get it on smart devices. Just anything that's smart is Portobello Radio.
And also other radios. And a big shout out to our lovely Uncle Charlie, who's slowly getting back to him. And he's talking about doing another event with Damien at the Muse Gallery later this year when he's fully recovered. He says, I'm going to get better, fully better. And one of the things I taught him the other night when I stayed over was that you can get LBC on your TV. Because Uncle Charlie uses the old radio thing and tunes in. So
Bless
yes,
him.
you can get radio on the TV set.
You can. You certainly can. Isn't it
Extraordinary.
amazing? This modern technology is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
In it modern.
In it modern.
Anyway,
Love it.
hopefully we're back there with you out there in Radioland, and we're delighted to welcome our first guest on our 400th show,
400.
Wow,
Yay!
Emma, you're the first guest on the 400th edition.
Emma Dencode. Welcome back to the Muse.
Always an honour. Thank you very much, you guys. It's lovely to be here.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've had you on a couple of times. Most proudly was, I think, the first big interview you gave after you'd fabulously won the borough.
True MP for North Kensington.
Yeah.
But you're still fighting,
I'm still fighting, yes.
and we've got loads of blots on the horizon.
lots of fights.
Lots of fights on the horizon, and since I was last on, I actually resigned from the Labour Party a couple of months ago.
Rap,
so if I'm looking a bit
well
more
done.
relaxed, that is why I don't have to go to a million meetings every week, and I'm just focusing as an independent,
900,000.
focusing on the things that matter most to us and our neighbours. And the big one at the moment is the huge development at Sainsbury's, the Ballymore Sainsbury development, which is approaching fast. So there have been lots of meetings, there have been lots of supposed engagement, lots of supposed consultation, and now we're getting closer to the time when the application is going to go into the council will riffle through it, and then either it will or won't be going out to formal consultation. We then just have 6 weeks to comment, so we all need to be ready. The earliest it could be is September, and we need to be ready. So we had a big meeting last night, which was really good. We had representatives from about 10 different RAs and community groups, and we had discussions and so on. And we're looking at
And that was a community meeting.
It was a community
organised by the
meeting.
community for the community.
For the community, and there were no developers allowed. I did actually know everybody who was there, I think, which was nice.
Yeah.
And it was a proper slice of North Ken, plus some of our friends from north of the canal, from the Kensal Triangle, came down as well to talk about soil toxicity, because they'd done lots and lots of work on that. So, we were looking at all the different aspects of tall buildings thing, which I think is a complete nightmare. I think. Shall I just run through a few of the things that are getting to me at the moment?
Maybe some of the worst aspects.
There's just 4 big aspects, I think. So the big one is tall buildings and the density of this thing. I think they designed this, the master plan for this was designed around the Crossrail station, which we're never going to have. We're never going to have a Crossrail station. Let me say it again, we're never going to have a Crossrail station.
Even though Paget Brown spent
There
£1
will
million
never be a
trying to get one.
Crossrail station.
It was always a fantasy, I'm putting it politely here. I was told about 15 years ago that it wasn't going to happen. And then I met the chief exec of Crossrail, and I said, when do I buy my hat for the opening of the Portobello Crossrail station? And he laughed like a drain, and he said, never, there was never going to be one. So they have pushed that, to push up the prices up there, to increase land value and to squeeze people out. Absolute shocker. So I think that they've designed this around a transport hub, and we don't have one. They're relying on the 316 and the 70 bus, which only take 40 people at a time, and a few other buses, obviously.
That makes absolute sense, because there's always been talk of Crossrail. So really good point.
So I think that's an absolute nightmare. Then there's the whole thing about the staircases and so on. That is changing all the time. They now have been told by the Mayor of London that they have to have a second staircase, and they go, oh my God, there's such a shock that we had to have a second staircase. You don't want people to burn to death in their beds.
And that's in the wake of Grenfell, where we know had there been a second staircase, perhaps we wouldn't have lost at least 72 of our people.
Precisely. So, I mean, this is also changing. So they do have to, in the taller buildings, I think it's over 30 metres, which is 9 stories, but some of the other campaign groups, the National Fire Chiefs and various architects, thinks it should be lower than that. So we'll see what happens. They may have to...
Well, we all think it should be lower.
Really in again, and then they said, because we've got to put in the second staircase, we can't put enough social housing in, which is the next big one.
Interesting. How is it that affects social housing but not private housing?
I know.
I wonder.
It's the money. They just haven't got enough money, Isis, and you know what this is all about, the money. So they keep saying, we're building 3,000 homes or whatever it is, and the council waiting list is 3,000. Hey, see? But actually, when you break it down, I've got these figures from the council, because it's quite frightening. The most that we're going to get out of that site, social rent or London affordable, which is the least expensive of the other ones, it's near just a little bit more than social rent, the most we'll get is 350.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Shocking.
Just over 10%.
And sorry, Emma, how long would the phasing take to complete that?
Well, they're saying 10 years.
So probably 20 years.
Quite possibly.
Right. So 20 years for 350 flats.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really what they're saying.
And
20 years of disruption for 350
we're
flats.
building desperately needed homes. The desperately needed homes are the social, and this is why I've been trying to break it down and pull out the facts of it. Other big things, obviously, they're not doing anything about inequality, which they should be, or environmental issues. We have to wait and see what they say about that. But the big one, soil toxicity, because we know that site is heavily contaminated.
Yeah, wicked.
And we heard some horrible stories last
Horrendous, absolutely horrendous.
from our friends in Kensal Triangle of some of the research they've been doing on this. Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
And there's a site in Southall.
Oh, good.
Which
This is
by,
exactly where we were going to go. I love this. You're reading my mind. You're
Barclay
reading my
Homes,
mind.
who are designing, they're going to be building the other part of that site. It was also a gas holder.
It was, exactly, because the Mayor of London about 10 years ago earmarked a load of old gas.
Brownfield sites.
Yeah,
exactly. And the people there are allegedly getting very sick.
They are getting
the,
very sick, yes.
From the
possible pollution that's living in the soil there.
Allegedly, cancer rates going up and so on. But it's making a lot of people very ill. So we're very, very scared, and quite right too, about soil toxicity there. And we were hearing some of the detail last night, which is very, very frightening. So there's all of those things. The big, big, big one, which is just insane, is transport.
So
not only transport out of the site and into the site, but just look at the
Ladbroke
transport
Grove.
infrastructure now.
Could you imagine Ladbroke Grove will be like with 3,000 more homes?
Yeah. It is solid
It's
every day of the
always-
week. It's like
Exactly.
Friday every day of the week now.
Exactly.
It used to be
Live on
blocked on
Ladbroke Grove.
Fridays, now it's every day of the week.
Mental.
Absolutely insane. And they say, but all these people are going to cycle and walk, because it's going to take them 20 minutes to get to Ladbroke Grove Station. I just don't think so.
Yeah, like the kind of person who's going to spend 600 grand on a flat is going to be cycling or walking.
exactly.
No.
It's absolute
Ubers all over the place.
Surely the real reason is they won't be living there. They'll all be living in China or...
Because there'll be investment properties, exactly.
Exactly. Well, I was told when I asked one of them about nurseries and primary schools and so on, and he said, no, the kind of people who buy here wouldn't be having children.
See, these are the people we actually don't want in North Kensington.
I love it. They are tripping, man.
He
They're
shouldn't have
properly
said
tripping.
that. There's a lot of
I
things
love
they
it.
shouldn't have said that they have said.
Yeah.
A youth worker said, well, what about jobs for local people? Somebody said something that they shouldn't have said, which was, well, there aren't really the skills we need in North Kensington, so we're bringing the experts in.
Ooh.
Which is just what you want to hear, isn't it?
Yeah,
because, they're
That's
just
exactly what we
completely
want.
How's
ravening
curry favour
hordes.
with us?
Absolutely shocking. So the transport thing is huge. And there's all this nonsense about bridges over the railway.
Could you
And
mention
cutting a new lane through the cemetery.
Cutting a lane through the cemetery.
and
What's going
over
on?
the canal where people are living on boats. So
Yeah.
people living on boats are going to have hundreds potentially of people walking over the canal where they're trying to live.
I mean, having gone through all this Crossrail stuff for years and years, I wonder if any of these bridges are actually viable.
No, they're not viable.
So
But
I don't
also,
think they're going to happen.
One of the things that I thought was really horrific as well was around the evacuation, because someone said, what if Grenfell 2 happened in one of those towers?
Yeah.
There's no space because the density is so tight. How would people evacuate? And apparently they were told they'd go use the bridges.
Use the bridges to go down and walk down
Imagine
Could
the
you
the
canal.
imagine?
bridges.
Could you imagine hundreds of people trying to evacuate a burning building over bridges? It's totally
The whole
insane.
thing is nuts, man.
It is absolutely nuts. So one of the bridges is going to go, allegedly go through the cemetery, and at the moment it's only open during, cemetery open hours. It closes at 4:30 in winter, darlings. That's not great for the commuters,
But also for the people whose loved ones are buried there,
Well, that's
and the
a huge
history of
one,
that
yeah.
place.
Yes.
It's like disturbing. We see Kensal as a really, really special
It's
place.
a sacred place.
It is.
It's the beginning
It
of
is.
two of our local rivers, now underground, of course. But it's as you say, it's a sacred place. There's many communities are represented up there, and able
Many
to
of us
bury
have
their
family
dead up
members
there.
buried there.
Yeah.
You want thousands of
Absolutely.
people traipsing through the cemetery all the time.
Absolutely. And we were hearing last night
Sacrilegious.
about the land there. It has never been touched. It's never had anything nasty done to it apart from cutting. So it's basically grassland, which means that it supports a most incredible array of wildlife. And one of the other things...
3 species, a particular bat, 20
Yes.
species of butterflies.
Amazing.
Just
I love
incredible.
this. Again, I was going to say local well-being is an
Local
issue. And
well-being.
us lot who live round here in the thick of it all, in the thick of the smog, if we want a bit of eye-opener, if we want a bit of relaxation, we go and walk our dogs up the canal, because just beyond the gasworks, exactly where they're going to build, it becomes almost like countryside.
Yeah.
That little stretch between us and Scrubs Lane, it's bloody beautiful.
And
It's
we need that
amazing
in our
up there.
concrete jungle in which we inhabit.
Yeah.
Exactly. The other
Absolutely.
bit we heard about last night, which I didn't really know much about before, was one of the other bridges, which is in theory going to go into the back of Little Scrubs. And in order to enable that, they have a plan to scoop off the whole of the grassland about a metre or something. Scoop it off, make a big pile of it. This is prime, topsoil. Make a big pile of it so they can have a ramp into what will then be meadows. So they're basically downgrading the entire area of the Little Scrubs to enable a bridge so people will be traipsing through and then get on the 316 bus, which only takes 40 people at a time.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
literally
I'm
a horror show.
bonkers.
That's
The
a
whole
horror
thing
show.
is insane.
I'm very confused by these bridges. Because
Yeah.
you're not exactly in a transport hub if you get to Harrow Road by the William
No,
IV.
no, no!
Precisely.
Kensal Green,
Yeah,
the most
that's what they-
accessible, wonderful
Again,
station in
yeah.
London.
Well,
Exactly.
that is
Yeah,
going to
they've
be
been selling that.
a long bridge.
Yeah, and they think that either that or Ladbroke Grove. And if anyone's done Ladbroke Grove in rush hour recently, they'll know that there's not much space for
the
another
platform.
1,000 people there at commuter time. The whole thing is utterly insane. I find it quite frightening, actually,
It is,
that it's
it's-
got this far.
It's totally
Yeah, well, you know
mental.
what? Sadly, it's probably going to get the go-ahead. This
No,
little
no, don't
nuts
say
thing.
that, please, please.
No, really?
No,
No,
I
please
hope,
don't
I
say
hope
that,
you're right,
Rosie.
but I've watched buildings appear around here in the last year, which we protested heavily against. I think you were doing particular measurements at the one outside the Westbourne Studios on Ackland Road.
That's a ridiculous one.
They
yeah,
told
exactly,
us it was not going to be higher than the tallest building in the immediate vicinity, which happens to be the Westbourne Studios. It's already 3 floors taller than the Westbourne Studios, so they lied about that.
They did lie.
And we said that it wasn't safe as far as particulate was concerned, as far as pollution was concerned, and they've built already. So I don't know. I just don't trust them. If they want to make
No, don't
money,
trust them, you're absolutely right.
They're just going to steamroll us. They're going to go ahead with their plans regardless.
But
The
then
only-
this is why
Yes,
Emma's
but-
here. How
yeah,
can, how
but
can
surely,
we?
Chance
can we stop it?
Chance being a grumpy old git on
Oh.
our birthday.
How
I
can we
will.
stop
What
it,
can we
Emma?
do?
What can we
stop
do?
it? So I've set up a group, and I'm not really leading. I don't want to be leading it. I just want to get
You've
people
done
together.
that leading bit.
Well, okay. I'm just trying to get people together, and I've set up an email, which is what's it called? Oh, ballynoway
I
at
like that.
gmail.com.
Well, can we have a
Excellent.
hashtag Bally No Way as well?
If you want,
Yeah.
maybe,
Excellent.
ballynoway at gmail.com. And if people want to be included in the mailing list, and all I'll send out, promise, it's not data harvesting. Like some politicians do. I don't do that, darlings. And then you just get all the good information. So if there's a consultation coming up, or is a date coming up, or is there something we should be worried about, you'll get emailed, and then you can email things in and say, oh, I've just found out this, or there's a rumor going around about this, and I'll spread it around. So it's ballynomore@gmail.com, and that's the start. As I say, I don't want to lead a whole big thing,
but actually,
I just
Emma,
want to join people up.
How can we also, I mean, I know I've spoken to younger people, how can we get social media, use like Twitter or Instagram, to really get the message out? Because obviously, us slightly older folk, we might be cool with the email list, but younger people they use different methods of communication.
Absolutely. Well,
I mean, is there scope for us to build this in?
If somebody can do that for us, that would be absolutely brilliant. I don't. So one of the residents last night was give me a whole list of things I should be doing. I honestly don't have time. I'm just trying to get people together, and so that other people will do things, because we need 1,000 people
at least
to write in with their objections, but they have to be, to learn how to object properly. There is a certain way of doing it, which I'll advise people how to do, what kind of things are in and what not in, which things are admissible and which aren't.
I mean, actually...
So that's what we need. But
transport and density are both in that list, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes. And I was just about to say, obviously, Emma and I are two of many people who are involved in the local plan that's going on at the moment. Next week, I'll be back in the town hall for how many other days, giving evidence in person, as will you. And some of the issues, housing is one of the big things, in which includes tall buildings and density. And then also I think it's the last week there's environment as well, isn't there? So
I'm doing in the 20th, I think it's the last day, I'm doing tall buildings and density. And I'm going to remind them that Paris has just banned tall buildings. Anything over 37 metres, beautiful Paris has banned.
But unfortunately, we don't riot like the Parisians.
That's 10 stories, darling. That's
our laws have been changed.
Move.
We're not allowed to.
Yeah.
That's the poo. That is the poo. We can't coalesce as unions. Unions can't coalesce, and that's what the French have.
I mean, the other thing is, because I do read the architecture press quite a lot, because of my foot in the other camp of architecture, is that a lot of architects are saying that actually we're done with tall buildings now. It's not the way we're going. And it's dense but low rise, which is really interesting. So I've been reading a lot about
how
that
are they making their money? Because again, one of the complaints of the developers is that we build the ground floor on the first floor, and then and that kind of pays back what we've invested, and then we actually make our money out the first to the 17th
I don't know about
floor.
that. They're just so. I mean, the developers are so incredibly greedy.
There's profit and then there's greed. If you take the greed out, and the thing is, I was looking at, as I was doing a bit of work on density. So Earl's Court is the most densely packed ward in the borough, as you can imagine. And that's all built around Garden Squares. And that's 200 people per hectare, and that's quite high.
Wow.
And so if I've calculated right, which I may not have, they're proposing 300 people per hectare, which is more,
imagine that?
But you can, using actual mansion flats, not just stupid blocks of flat they call mansion flats, you can achieve, as they say, density with mansion blocks with gardens in the middle. So there you go. Sorted.
There you go.
Sorted.
It's, as they say on the advert, simples.
Simple. Thank you.
Emma, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, as
Pleasure.
ever.
Thank you.
And also, how can
there's a
people get in
meeting on
touch with you?
Monday.
Can you tell us about the meeting on Monday? Ballynomore.
ballynomore@gmail.com. And there's a big developer forum at Barbie School on Monday, coming up this Monday the 10th. 5:30, go and see their exhibition. 6 o'clock, sit down and listen to them droning on for a little while.
Yep.
And then you get some questions. So come with some very, very good questions. Let's pack the meeting out with good questions.
Yeah. Transport being an easy win, I would say, for our side, simply because, we all know
but also the
how difficult it
toxicity.
is.
The toxicity, Piers, it's horrendous. What's the name of the woman who did the film?
Jude Allen,
Jude Allen. I don't know how. Is she on?
She's amazing. She's from Kensal Rise.
But is she on
Kensal
can you
Triangle.
find the film on YouTube or?
I think it's on the Kensal Triangle. They've got a website. Yeah.
Right. So if you Google Kensal Triangle and find this film, it's all about the whole history of the toxicity, and it really. I mean, coming back to what Gregsy mentioned, the situation in Southall. We've already had Grenfell, so now we're going to have people with carcinogenic chemicals and the history of people with lung infections. I mean, it just sounds, it's really a nightmare.
Terrifying. It's
terrible.
Really frightening, actually.
Really
it's
terrible.
very frightening, and nobody's convinced that they're actually going to do a good job. They just want
No,
to
of
make
course
profit.
No, and it'll cost about 5 times as much.
And take us back. And also, let's not forget, Sainsbury's will be closed for years.
Oh yeah,
No, darling. Sorry, no. The most important things first. They're going to build the new Sainsbury before they close the old one.
Oh, interesting. And the
because
petrol
that's the first
station.
thing, and that's the first 4 years is building the new Sainsbury. So you can still shop at Sainsbury's. It's
Excellent.
Oh, so
And
you have Sainsbury's.
can we get our petrol? That was the other
They're
big
closing
thing.
the
getting rid of
petrol
that.
station.
Yeah.
Because the people who live there are going to have electric cars, or they're going to be scootering or
But
walking
it's the
everywhere.
only petrol station in miles around.
So either you,
There's only
if
two.
you're not rich
There's
or
only two.
fit,
One in the
then
Harrow
forget
Road
it.
and one up at Ladbroke Grove.
Another one on St Mark's Road in the
Yeah.
Boroughs.
Oh yeah,
One
the
at
little one,
yeah,
in,
the
the
little
private
one.
one on
The
St Mark's.
expensive
Yeah,
one.
the
It's not
expensive
private.
one.
No,
It's
the price. It's the cheapest one in the whole of London, apparently.
Is
Come
it?
to Lateran,
Yeah.
mate.
I do. I had my car mended opposite only a week ago. So yeah, man. No, very good.
Yeah, it's
very
because
good. All right.
electric cars, and there's some work being done on charging electric cars under residential buildings, because lithium batteries, if they go,
Oh yeah.
they go.
Yeah.
And
Nasty.
that's terrifying. So whether or not that piece of research is going to be through in time to stop them trying to persuade people to put electric cars under residential buildings and charge them under electric buildings, I have no idea. But there's lots of things they haven't thought of, and they don't want to know, and they've got their fingers in their ears going la la la, because they want to make lots of money. And a
Never.
rude word.
Oh
Actually.
no. Oh.
Thank you, Emma.
Absolute pleasure. Thank
Amazing.
you.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you all down there on Monday.
Monday,
Barbie
pack it
School.
out. Protest. We don't want Bally. Bally no more.
Bally no more.
Thank you, Emma.
I
Yeah, that of course is Shaka Khan. I'm Every Woman, and that is going out to Emma Denko.
Oh, okay, it's not going out to you. Okay, I was just a bit confused there.
Right, let's not go there, Isis.
Well, it's Pride weekend. Come on, it's Pride weekend in London.
Last week.
Oh, is it last week? Yeah, in that case, it's this week in Brighton or something.
Yeah.
Brilliant,
quite
absolutely
possibly.
brilliant. There you go.
So, Isis, a minute ago, you were crying out for young people to get involved
The
in
youth
the
them.
issues
The
that
youth
matter
them.
to us in our everyday life. And guess what? We've got one right in front of us.
That's
Akil.
why we're Portobello Radio.
Akil Hunt, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm blessed, thank you. Still learning. How are you doing?
Yeah, all good. All the better for meeting you. Now, you've got an event called, is it called Destined for Greatness?
That's correct.
So
yes.
one.
And the subtitle is Be Part of the Change.
That's correct, yes.
So, does it do what it says on the tin?
Yeah. How is this destiny to greatness going to work?
For sure. And firstly, I'm a big believer in destiny. I think we all have our own destiny and what we're here to do as spiritual beings in physical forms. And in terms of the event itself, so essentially I'm a local resident within the community, and I witnessed the Grenfell Tower fire on the day, and I also grew up with a young man called Fola Orabayi, unfortunately passed away due to knife crime at 17 years old in 2016. And there's been a lot of trauma in the community. And from my perspective, I didn't really like the idea that trauma was a definition of the community. I felt like there was more to the community than trauma, and I wanted us to have something that gave us a platform to express how we can grow as a community. And I wrote a spoken word piece called Destined for Greatness in 2021 that came from my own personal trauma and the trauma that the community experienced. And it was this year where I genuinely felt like we need to do something about this, because nothing's been happening. I've been trying to push the door open for change. And this year, finally, I think after the pandemic and the mental health breakdowns people have been having, the communities supporting the councils have wanted to push this forward on my behalf with me. And I've had great support from Mozilla City CIC. We'll be doing networking on the day. We'll be children's activities. There'll be an intergenerational event. We'll be looking to have speeches from myself, from Member of Parliament Andy Slaughter.
He's a MP for Hammersmith, right? Yeah,
that's
cool.
correct.
Everyone loves him.
Day.
If only we loved the MP and RBKC.
If only we can remember her name. So this is all happening on Sunday, the 9th of July.
Yes.
So if you're listening on Sunday, you better start getting ready.
That'll be great.
2 p.m.
That's correct.
And you're at Edward Woods.
That's correct, yes.
Right. Tell us about, I didn't even know there was a community centre at Edward Woods.
There is, yeah. There is a community centre at Edward Woods. And there hasn't been many events in the community to bring us together. I think this will be the first one that's actually happened on the estate in that centre. So there is events that happen, and it's a space where young people can do activities like taekwondo or have tea, but there's been no space for constructive generational change, which is something that I'm looking to instigate in collaboration with Mozilla City CIC and other young leaders in the community. So yeah, hopefully this can be the start of something, of a collaboration between two boroughs. That's a bit like Romeo and Juliet. It's like on two different sides of the table, never really coming together. So
and it's weird because, you know, the Edward Woods sticks right out into North Kensington. So Norwich Hub, you know, the Norwich Hub.
They're helping
that is actually part of Hammersmith and Fulham.
Yeah.
But it's at the bottom of my road, just around the corner from me. It's like Kensington and Chelsea. And it's this weird kind of
Hammersmith
thing.
and Fulham and Kensington and Chelsea have flip-flopped those various bits.
Exactly.
Ingham Road used to be in the RBKC, and now it's in Hammersmith and Fulham. But interestingly, Edward Woods is when they knocked down the slums around Notting Dale, you know, what's now become Silchester and Lanc West. Edward Woods is where they put a lot of the people who stayed in London. Obviously, a lot of people were pushed out to Hayes, Harlington, whatever. So
and then they ended up in Hammersmith and
Fulham. It is very
Fulham
much part of the story of the borough. So be part of the change. You know, we've just been talking to Emma about housing, about there not being enough social, about should we really have 35-storey towers up there. You mentioned knife crime. You mentioned the mental health issues that have arisen, well, particularly amongst young people since the pandemic.
Correct.
And amongst local residents since the fire.
So much.
Can you bring any issue to the table next on Sunday?
So on Sunday, our key objective is to ensure that the community has a say in what issues they want to be addressed. So we will be doing something that's inspired by the work of Mozilla City CIC, called Adopt Democracy.
What's
where
that mean?
adopt democracy essentially giving the attendees, most likely the local residents, opportunity to put down on a piece of paper which issues they really think needs to be addressed in the community. So hopefully we can see through the dots, the colourful dots which would be arranged, what is the main issues that need to be addressed in the local community. And so when the Member of Parliament is having the conversation with us, I call it a conversation as it's inclusive with us as part of that, then they can see visually, here's what we need to address, what we're going to do about it. So hopefully that can be something that spearheads those issues and pushes that forward.
It sounds absolutely brilliant. What, I mean, to you, are you going to be, you're kind of leading part of this. Are you going
what's your role?
Are you going to
Yes.
be promoting particular ideas, or are you going to be there facilitating everyone else to come on board?
Thanks for asking that. So essentially, Desert for Greatness was my idea. So I made it up as a part of a spoken word piece in 2021, which I'll be performing live on Sunday. So I will be pushing forward that piece, and I want to give a video where we put it together on YouTube to showcase why my community is destined for greatness, with conversation with the local community on the day. I'm helping to organize it. I've literally, firstly, I was the one who firstly dug deep and put out these flyers. So actually my girlfriend is the one who designed these flyers.
Well done.
Keeping it in-house.
Keeping it in-house, precisely. And the Mozilla City CIC have been wonderful in terms of pushing forward, the organization, getting us links with the council and RBKC. And we've also had some support from people that are local in the area, like the Nourish Shop, for example, have been fantastic.
They are fantastic.
They literally gave us a whole box of support today. I call it a box of love. So yeah, that was delivered earlier today. So yeah, lots of support. I'm organizing it, doing a spoken performance, and there'll be open mic performance as well from young people who will be part of the community and young people that I know who want to talk about change or talk about social situations that they believe are important to them as well. As well as having a bit of fun as well. As you know, the community isn't just a traumatic place where everybody goes through hardship. It's a place of expression and enjoyment and creativity.
Yeah, no, I mean, funnily enough, that's when we did our soundscape under the Westway. Part of the whole point was to prove that we're not just victims of Grenfell around here.
Absolutely.
We've got a history going back 200 years of lots of oppression and lots of resilience and strength in the face of that oppression. And we've got to keep that going because we don't want to be pitied.
No.
We want to be admired for our strength.
That's correct. Absolutely correct.
Indeed.
Fantastic. So you're on Sunday at Edward Woods, the community centre. That's W11, gets everyone 4TX, but it's just down there, Bramley Road, before you get to Royal Crescent.
But the nearest tube station is Shepherd's Bush, probably, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Manly, Latimer Road.
Latimer Road.
Yeah, in between those two.
Yeah. And also, I love that gardening, Hunt Close, just up there. And you're right next to Frestonia, and we've been going on a lot about Frestonia, so you should get them down, actually. I'll give you a contact for them.
I'd love to have a contact to Frestonia. Thank you.
So get on down there. How do you hope this is, this is obviously, I've heard about this everywhere. It's going to be a great event on Sunday.
Fantastic.
How are you going to go forward from this? What's next up?
Yeah,
when you get all these dots on a piece of paper?
Yeah, well, the dots are meant to be instrumentation for change. And for us, the change starts with the event and it ends with long-term generational success. So from my perspective, I don't live in the present, I live in the future. So I see it as a time for us to time travel in the future to see what the community can be like, what investment hubs can we put together, how can we show the community a space for the young people, how can we show that trauma isn't a definition of people's perspective, but it's only a foundation for them to build forward from, to invest more widely into their own personal professional lives. And it's, for me, the most important thing is bringing together a collaboration between Hammersmith and Fulham and Kensington and Chelsea as two boroughs that, quite frankly, could do with that collaboration and collegiality in order to manifest this perspective that we are all destined for greatness.
And it's also recognising that the community is one in essentially. It's like just over crossing the Harrow Road. It's only boundaries that separate us, but people are communities regardless of boundaries.
You jump across the West London line and you're in the White City Estate. So
close.
Indeed.
Thank you so much, Akil. Wish you best of luck.
Did you shout out your social media handles?
I'm not. You can find me, but yeah, we have actually a tagline for the event. It's called. Let me get up my phone so I don't misquote. I didn't make the social media. It was my other half. So I have to make sure that I get this right, or she hears this, she's gonna get me in trouble.
Anyway, there'll be some flyers at the Muse Gallery. if you happen to be coming by to check the last week of the residency exhibition.
Fantastic. The social media is Destined for Greatness _UK. Destined for Greatness _ UK on Instagram. And you can also find me on Instagram as well, Akil _Hunt.
With an E.
Yeah. So you can find me as well. But I'm not that interesting, so...
Well,
I'm sure you're interesting.
Turn up on Sunday, find out how interesting Akil is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Giza.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that is a Boogaloo version of Uptight by Stevie Wonder, and that is Charlie Palmieri. As he was leaving, Akil said he didn't know what he was going to say when he got on mic. But
well, he said what he said was brilliant. It was amazing.
Absolutely fine. Accompanied by some of the representatives of Maxilla City. All great.
All young-led CIC, probably the only CIC in the local area led only by young people 30 and under. Well, under 30 actually.
Yeah, just.
Well, the one I know is just, but the rest of them are actually under 30.
So, we got our next guest on board. It's Donald War.
That's correct. Thanks for pronouncing my name correctly.
Yeah. I've been watching the cricket and there are loads of wars in Australia.
At least I don't get WOG, just sometimes, you know. WAUGH. Yeah.
There's a line of attack in there somewhere, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
No.
Now, you are working with Captain Eric. Captain Eric runs this crazy boat called a Moliana.
He does bards on boats and all these sorts of things.
Yeah, he's done bards on boats. He also did some Beetle. Anyway, at one point
he's done so many different things.
But he parks outside the Carlton Bridge, which is now called.
What I love about him is he moves it around.
Yeah.
It moves around.
I think you have to actually, unless you've got a permanent mooring. But
yeah, you have to. Yeah.
You get 2 weeks or something. But Donald, you've got an event on this weekend.
Yes, we have.
Captain Eric is parking the boat up there by Mary Maggs, where the
lip.
The lip of the Westway hangs over the canal.
Mm-hmm.
It's for 3 days. It's the whole weekend. Tell us about it.
So on the Friday, hi everyone. My name's Donald War again, and I'm an actor, performer, creative person, and I connected with Eric. I would say about 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
and our
Love at
spirits
first sight.
our spirits interlocked. And I was working on a Windrush project, and I said, I'm going to take some time out and work with you. And I just love his energy and his spirit. So let me break this down first. So Fridays,
That's today.
Today, yeah, from 10 to 2 p.m. They were going to have like a spoken word section. On Saturday, they're going to have from 10 till 2 like a surgery for canal boats. On Sunday, they will be the floating mic, where they're going to get people to sing and be crazy and do the most amazing things. There will be art workshops. There'll also be a bar. There'll be competitions. So I'm just trying to think as much as possible. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday today, basically people are going down to the canal. That lip, as you call it, is it about 200 meters of land that's just available, that's just like going to waste. And so they want to get a discussion group going to see what they can actually do with that space. So the reason why I was brought in, and I'm not from this area, but I love the whole vibe of this, is that I take rubbish and I turn rubbish into fashion and art.
Right, you upcycle, would you call it that?
I upcycle, I create, I take nothing and turn nothing into something.
Well, so we're all about that on Portobello Radio.
Yeah, I mean, walking along that stretch of the canal, I've seen like cans, black bin liners, all these sorts of things are what I would like to use to actually create some kind of artwork or sculpture by Sunday.
Wow.
Is that the bit of the canal that we refer to as the dog toilet?
Well, yes.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yes,
yeah. It's where the other Westbourne studios
Just
is.
before the Grand Union,
Yeah.
the Grand Union studio. So, yeah, the dog toilet.
For those people who are not 100% cognizant with the canal, how do you actually access that?
I think the closest station is the Westbourne Park station. So I think they have to, from the station, kind of follow that round.
Go to the canal, turn right.
Yeah.
Walk along for a bit.
Yeah. And so I'm hoping with, I've got like the torso of a mannequin, and I'm going to work with the leaves, plants, rubbish, cans, anything that's available. So I'll try and hang that as high as I can and get anyone that's walking past, anyone that feels the spirit to actually take part and create. That's the way that I work. You know, I take no prisoners. Oh, I'll just look. No, you won't. You'll take part.
You'll get on board.
Oh, good work. Love it. Get everyone involved.
Absolutely.
In fact, if I'm not much mistaken, on the other side of the canal, quite near there, attached to the back of one of the houses, is a rather beautiful sculpture made out of what appears to be bits of metal. That whoever
I haven't seen that, but now I'm going to go and check that out. Definitely.
Go and check that out.
Definitely.
The canal is such a brilliant resource. I mean, I think we've talked about it 3 times now on this show.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned the fact you can turn left at Scrubs Lane and you're in the countryside in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, we love that. We absolutely love that. And the
the
canal makes it.
Yeah, at the Sounds of Latimer, we had Ethan Cohen, the young sound artist. He actually did a listening walk. He does these walks where no one says anything, you just listen, and he prompts you to listen harder.
With prompting cards.
Yeah, I took one of his walks down the canal. He goes from Sainsbury's to the Ace Cafe in
Wow, that's a long
Can I ask?
Blimey.
That's a long
the
walk.
Scrubs Lane bit. Explain where's that? How do you access that?
Scrubs Lane is
where the Mary Seacole Park is. Yeah.
Okay. Because I went to school in Acton,
Right.
in East Acton, so Scrubs Lane was just
literally around the corner,
Yeah.
Scrubs Lane. We had quite a tragic incident about 10 days ago. Some young man from Ealing was stabbed
17-year-old.
on the canal bridge at Scrubs Lane and then thrown over the bridge into the canal
water,
in a kind of totally horrific.
They pulled him out, but they couldn't save him.
Save him,
sadly.
yeah. So can I ask, because I'm not from this area and I'm sort of diving in and I'm going to sort of use my creative pursuits to do whatever, what do you guys think of that little stretch? Because obviously that's the only bit. I think tomorrow we're going to have a lot of rain, so it'll be interesting to see what happens, because obviously the sun's out today, but what do you guys think of that kind of stretch?
Well, I guess because there's no sunlight, there's no greenery under that little bit. It's always always been a sand pit.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I don't know. It's really well known for the giant terrapins. Have you heard about this?
No.
About 20 years ago, somebody released their pet terrapins into the canal there, and they've survived just a little bit further up as you go towards the Grand Union, otherwise known as Mary Mag's Park.
Yeah.
There's some rocks underneath one of the little bridges, one of the industrial bridges that goes over, not a footway or a road bridge. It carries something like water pipes or something over the bridge. There's some rocks down by the bottom of it, and this is where they bask.
Wow.
So you can actually walk along there in the
when you say
afternoon.
giant, how big are they?
They are pretty large, to be fair. About
I
the
know
size
terrapins
of,
are tiny.
No,
Yeah.
these things have grown large. Honestly, literally.
Are they able to eat people?
They're 300 years old.
This is a monster terrapin.
No, about sort of 10 inches in diameter. They are big terrors. Which are amazing, absolutely amazing creatures, and wonderful that they can survive in a horrible cold climate.
Life will out.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because the canal is, or the canals in certain areas are the last bastion of, if you want to escape and just take your brain out and wash it. And you think to yourself, wouldn't it be amazing if you could actually create from one sort of section of canal to the other, almost like the Hanging Gardens of Babylon with beautiful plants and stuff. Do you see?
Yeah, I get that.
Yes.
Totally get that. Wonderful idea. I think one of the few reasons why we're actually able to keep our canals in the state that they are is because the electricity companies had to buy the towpaths in order to maintain the electricity. If you notice, the towpaths are literally boxes with electrical cables in them.
Is that correct?
Because of this, they can't do anything with the canals. Yeah, absolutely. This is certainly one of the stories of how the canals have kept as they are since they have been in for the last 100 years.
Part of the history of this country, aren't they? Because before roads and all this,
not so much before roads. They came, and one of the things I love about the canal is
didn't they use them to transport goods? And
absolutely.
like
Before railway, I guess.
Before railway.
Yeah, the canals were dug in kind of the 1820s through to the 1840s, and you see often by Irishmen brought over from...
Of course,
because of the Great Hunger in Ireland. So you had the canal dug out in about 1820, 1830. And then, up north, that guy Stevenson invents the rocket and invents the train. Yeah. And next door to it, you've got the kind of gentrified canal, which is the railway, which replaced it. And
stations like Victoria Station are built on old canal ports.
Yeah, that's right,
So it used to be a canal port, but they quickly got rid of that when the railways took over. And
So did they use the sort of canal routes or the map of the canals to build the railways? Is that what
pretty
they did?
much? The West London line was built on the canal that was kind of dug out of Counters Creek, and again lasted about 10-15 years before it became redundant. So there's loads of history there, and it really is an example of the relentless march of progress, because it must have seemed a great idea. How are we going to get goods to Birmingham? Oh, let's dig some canals.
Yeah.
But you spoke earlier on about lighting as well, and you think with technology we should be able to harness some kind of way of lighting without using electricity.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I love that.
But my whole thing is about beautifying anywhere or everywhere that I go.
Maybe we should run some mirrors on the underside of the carriageway there or something.
See,
do you know what I mean?
now
To get the reflections off the canal up to the mirrors and then down onto the plants.
Yeah.
There's a project there.
There's a project there, indeed.
So anyway, if people can come along on today, tomorrow and Sunday, and it's all about having a discussion group, a group so people within the area can talk about what they would like to do with that space. As an outsider, I'm looking, and as a creative, I'm thinking there's so many things that I could do to really, really beautify it. And also, I think a lot of people, there's a cut-off point when I spoke to people that actually walk along the canal. At certain times at night, they won't go down there, and I just think that's just so sad.
Yeah,
that you can't. And again, with the lighting and sort of beautiful planting and some beautiful sculptures and beautiful artwork, we can transform the space into the most beautiful space.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Hashtag beautify the canal.
Ladies and gentlemen, get on down this weekend. It's Friday today. If you're listening to the Saturday show, get on down straight away. If you're listening to the Sunday show, get on down straight away. Westbourne Park, down to the canal, turn right about 200 or 300 metres. You're there, and you'll be confronted with workshops,
music,
like-minded
artwork. I'll be doing some artwork. I'll also be taking whatever's available within the space, dirty bin liners, Coke cans that are discarded, drinks cans that are discarded, and turn it into beauty. And there are no prisoners, because people say, well, I can't do any art. I say, no, everyone must get involved.
Get on
Brilliant,
board.
absolutely brilliant. Just before we release you,
Yes, sir.
we obviously want to take your socials and that. Is it true, the rumour, that you were in the original Bugsy Malone movie?
I was.
Come on!
I was.
Brilliant.
It's really interesting. I don't want to
So
go
you're the
on.
little boy.
Well, there are two gangs. There's Fat Sam's gang and Dandy Dan's gang. I'm
Yeah.
in Fat Sam's
Yeah,
gang.
Come on!
Yeah, you're in Fat Sam. Yeah, of
Brilliant.
course.
Yeah,
But
But wasn't there only one African heritage child in there?
No, I mean, we shot it here in the UK. Most people think it was shot in America.
No,
'cause
I
you had
knew it was shot here, yeah.
Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
But it was just the most incredible experience, because walking through Pinewood and then suddenly seeing the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang car.
Oh, yeah,
They were filming
man.
a movie called Rollerball at the time. But I've done a
Okay.
few
Oh,
things.
one of my favourites.
Yeah, and in
Ah.
fact, James Caan gave me the helmet, and I traded it with someone for something ridiculous. But
Oh.
I've been quite lucky, because I started off with Bugsy Malone, then I was
Yeah.
in the original Grange Hill.
Oh, no!
Then from Grange Hill.
Hang on, so were you with
Ashley,
Tucker's
yes,
Lot?
we-
So
we-
you are my generation.
I'm
Tucker's
your
Lot.
generation. I am.
What was your character?
I played a character called Hughes, and
Okay.
Hughes was incredible. Well, I'm still quite well
Were you,
spoken.
were you
Yeah,
a goody?
you are,
Goody
yeah.
goody? Or
Sorry?
Oh,
were
Hughes
you
was a
goody
posh boy,
goody?
was he?
I was a goody, yeah, I was. So I did that. Those three things put me in good stead. So you've got Bugsy Malone, you've got Grange Hill, and then I was in the original production of Cats. I don't know if you heard, a musical.
What, Cats the musical?
Yeah. So I've done, stuff that's...
What, on
been-
Drury Lane?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mental. Amazing.
Well, did you see it? How'd you
I
do?
did.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
you would have
several
seen-
times.
Well, you would
yeah.
have seen me.
Yay,
Did you see the
brilliant.
original,
Absolutely
though? Did you?
Gosh, I can't remember.
Yeah?
It was a long time ago.
Yes, the
We're
long-
all very old.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Damien saw it.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice
There
to
you
see
go.
you.
You
Nice
see,
to
we
meet
all
you.
love a bit of we love a bit of musical theatre.
Sorry? Very, very, very well, yes. In fact...
Does he know Dexter was the question?
Yeah, because Sky are going to do, I think in 2 years' time, is a special anniversary for Bugsy Malone. So Sky's doing a whole documentary.
Are
and
you
then-
reprising your role?
Yeah.
well, actually...
So you
no,
want
they're
to
not.
be a boxer?
You could never do that. You could never... the way Alan Parker spoke to the kids, like, get over there, do that. We were all terrified, but people like Jodie Foster said, oh, just get over it or whatever. But Alan Parker died recently with the whole COVID thing.
Oh, poor
Yeah.
And I'll share this very, very quickly because I don't want to go on and on and on, but I really wanted to get to the man to say thank you for giving me a break.
Oh.
And I can see it even with your daughter. She's got like a spirit and an energy.
Oh,
I don't know her very well, but if she gets her claws into something, she's not going to stop.
She's a filmmaker more so.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to desperately meet Alan Parker. And of course, it was that period where everyone was going into homes and even your family couldn't go and visit the hospices and so on. And I said, I really want to see him. Anyway, they put him into this hospice. And the guy that they have looking after him is my best mate at school. Because we spoke about Wormwood Scrubs. I went to a school called Barbara Speak.
You're like Mr. Serendipity.
Oh my God, yes, Barbara Speak.
Yeah.
That was the place to go back in the day.
It
wasn't
was,
it?
and I was really lucky because my agent was Phil Collins' mother,
No.
June Collins.
I love this. This is mental.
Proper connected.
I've opened up a can of worms.
Well, he's
obviously.
nearly as
I love
connected,
it.
or maybe
I love
more
it.
connected than Piers.
No,
I
hopefully
do.
more. Hopefully more.
I stand
Brilliant.
down.
Yeah, no, but and she was amazing, June Collins, because she just literally guided my career. But anyway, with Alan, I wanted to get to him, couldn't get to him. They put him in a hospice, and my best friend at Stage School, that we're still friends with now, his second job is caring for people that are dying.
Right.
So they put them together, and he's looking after him. They know he's going to be only a couple of days before he dies, and they start talking about Bugsy Malone, and then they get on to me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Alan, the day before he died, he said, I'm glad that I met that young guy. He had no talent. He wasn't trained, but I could see that there was something in him, and gave me that
Gave you a break, man.
and
Mental.
so I couldn't physically get there, but the energy of someone else
Yeah.
got to him.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And that energy is carrying on, and it's going to be on show on the canal this weekend. Is it Sunday? Is it 10 to 2 or is it 10
10 till 6 on Sunday, actually. 10 till
That's a
6.
long one.
But I hope that you get me back again, because I'm,
We'll definitely
I'm a
get you
virgin
back.
in your area, and I want to start taking areas that are run down.
We allow virgins on Portobello Radio.
And I want to beautify them. So let's watch this space. I'll come back
I'm
on.
biting my lip here, but yeah.
But-
brilliant,
don't pretend,
brilliant.
Gregsy.
You coming?
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you,
Superb.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
this.
Very
Take
good
care.
luck with it this
Thank you.
weekend. It's going to be
Thanks.
mental.
On the
Absolutely
canal,
mental.
under the lip. Paris 400.
Come on, 400. Thank you, Donald.
Yeah, that is Milo, Paris 400. While that track was on, Donald told us some even more incredible stories, so we can't wait to get him back on the show. But so we're not going to waste any of them on you now. I'm going to... Oh,
Yes.
I wanted to play one more tune because
wow.
I've just wanted to talk about Dave Hucker.
Oh, Dave Hucker.
So can I have it back, please?
Yeah, go on then. Because I'm going to talk about someone else as well.
Dear Dave, we put him to rest. Well, you guys put him to rest on Monday. And then after that...
At the cemetery, that may have a footbridge over the top of it.
Yeah, the very
quite
cemetery.
soon.
Oh, through it, even worse.
It was packed out. It was packed out at Kensal Green. It was rammed at the Maxilla. There was an outpouring of love for Dave. I ended up the day sitting down with Michael D'Souza, Rasta Mouse.
Oh, amazing. Brilliant.
Rasta Mouse, about to have its 20th anniversary.
Didn't see him.
Neil Spencer, my old editor on the NME, and Chris Salovitz.
And yes, Chris Salovitz, I saw him. And Mike the Bike, he was on the team
Mike
as
the
well.
Bike was there.
There was a lot of great faces,
It was
actually.
a great send-off for Dave. Dave was the legendary Latin DJ. He was also actually the projectionist and the assistant manager down at the Electric in the 70s. but he went on to do clubs, particularly the Soli Sombra and the Sombrero.
Lovely.
Kind of introduced England, or not London certainly, to Latin music.
Latin, yeah, hard salsa. Come on.
Salsa Dura, as we call it, and he made a series of shows for us, 23 of them, called Tropical Mix.
Amazing.
And they are amazing shows. And Dave used to deliver them to us on CD.
He was old school. So he'd record it up and he'd run in here on a Friday afternoon and say, here's my show for the weekend. It would be presented on a CD.
Anyway, we were delighted to be able to give Kim 7 of those CDs.
Kim asked for some back, and so unfortunately I hadn't thrown them all away. I had managed to.
Anyway, Kim, thank you for a fantastic send-off for Dave.
Our
hearts go out to you.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to play one tune which I will always thank Dave for introducing me to. I would get onto Mixcloud /Portobello Radio, search Dave Hucker, because they are absolute blinders.
They are. Big love to him and all the family.
I love Portobello Radio.
I'll get on my bailando con mi ritmo.
Yeah, that's the Boogaloo Assassins. No, that's going out to Dave Hucker, everyone who knew him. I mean, to me, that just sounds like that sound system he used to run up there on Goldborn Muse, and coming out of my flat, 359 Portobello, and walking through it on my way to KCC. Anyway, Dave, thank you for all the music. We're at the 400th show. We're embracing the void. So we've invited two people who know all about that. We've got Catherine Morgan-Thomas.
Hi.
And Chris Harding.
Hello.
Embracing the Void is actually an exhibition. Tell us all about it.
Embracing the Void is about the sculptures that I've created, which the main theme of the show is about loneliness, connection and light. And it's and something that's very, very important to me, which is community. Yeah. And so community and being here on a community radio is absolutely fantastic to be here. So thank you.
Are we the Void?
No, the Void is. I was in the corporate world doing commercial architecture for years, and I trained as a sculptor and I always wanted to be an artist, and I just left one day at the height of my career and decided I want to be a sculptor. I'm going to be a sculptor, and found myself being really lonely and like. Before I missed everybody. It's a very lonely experience being an artist and working out who am I, who is this, and this void appeared, and then it's just taken on a life of its own as to what is that void and expressing it. So the piece is all about the void and individual journeys, and I cut in glass. And
so Chris, can you describe? I won't ask Catherine to describe her own work, but can you? How big are they? How small are they? Have they got holes in them like a bolo bin?
A lot of them do have holes in them. They're probably about a foot and a half. There's some serious, solid potential murder weapons in there. I mean, Catherine,
20 kilos.
House. They're big.
20 kilos of glass.
They're big units.
Wow.
So when I think of glass, I think of something quite ornate, like a lalique or some kind of little frou-frou or the chandelier.
Yeah, like that place in Florence where they're always blowing.
Exactly.
Stuff, yeah.
Or the chandelier scene in Only Fools and Horses that everyone knows, classic,
where
Rodney unloosens the wrong chandelier. But Catherine's work is solid and it's incredible. It's like one of them is like the Shard. It's literally like a miniature of the Shard, but it's so powerful. Like the way the glass is fluted and the way it kind of curves in this like scalloped edge. You can see the light passing through it in so many different ways. So, yeah, it's incredible work, and we go back a long way as local artists, and I've always admired Catherine's work. And this is a big thing for her. I hope she doesn't mind me saying it, but her work is so incredible. Surprised it hasn't been celebrated in the way it is being now. And to get an amazing local venue in Holland Park, I think we're just so made up that this is happening, basically.
Yeah.
You better tell us where the Ice House Gallery is, because I can.
There was some confusion about directions earlier.
W86LU, but actually you Isis walked past it this morning.
Well, I was there yesterday in the park, on the old field.
On the swings.
No, I was on the field because my daughters more or less grew up in that park. We went there every day. They went to Bowsfield, so after school we'd go up to Holland Park in the summer. And then I was there yesterday, so I went past it, and then again today. And it's ironic that you're here now in your exhibition, because I actually looked and thought, oh, there's an exhibition in the Ice House, and here you are.
So it's just there by
It's just near the cafe. If you basically head towards the cafe, you're either, if you're coming from High Street Ken, it's on the left, and if you're coming from the other way, it's on the right, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's lots of signage. There'll be lots of signage.
Everyone knows where it is in the park.
We'll be out flying on the day of private view.
Yeah, I'm an expert on signage actually, because for our soundscape a couple of weeks ago, I got some floor stickers created so that you could find your way from Latimer Road Station. I'm delighted that they're all still there.
Floor stickers.
Wow.
No one stole any.
No, one in Lancaster West, which they've turned round to point the other direction.
Floor stickers are the most considerate form of signage. You even need to move your head up. You literally just follow.
Keep your head down and walk.
Because we're all miserable just staring at the floor.
Exactly.
Now, not only is it a show, but you're also doing a couple of talks, would that be fair to say? Or in conversation?
Yeah, in conversation with the lovely Chris here.
So what I want to know, because I'm a poet, is semiotition.
Semiotician.
Semiotition?
Semiotician is
get
someone
it
that
right.
does
Semiotition.
someone does semiotics.
Right.
Semiotics comes from.
No, I know what semiotics is, but semiotician.
Semiotician, yes, it's the person that does semiotics.
But
my friend calls me a semioticist.
But why not use poet? What is it, or word player or something else? That's my point.
It's Micah needs to give an answer to why. I mean, I quite
big shout out to Micah.
I quite leading with the poet, but no, I mean I'm into meaning. I mean I manifest the meaning through the poetry, but also I deconstruct visual culture for clients, and also I teach a course on it. So, but for me, it's like there's a lot of symbolism in Catherine's work. Not only the void at the heart of a lot of her work, but the way in which these are like sculptural poems for me. You know, there's a lot of emotion in them. They're not intricate.
So the conversation, your poetry, your
semiotics
is specifically relating to Catherine's work.
We might bring a little bit in there, but I think it's also going to be about her background and moving from the corporate world, the transition to becoming an artist, and all the work she's done in like community building. And she's got a very strong perspective on loneliness and why. Do you want to sort of say a bit about that, Catherine, maybe?
Yeah, well, I think everyone suffers from loneliness, and it's something that I've really embraced, which is why it's called Embracing the Void. But it's also one of the cures for loneliness, and I feel that in a city of like 7 million people, we're all living in these little boxes, and we're all locked behind double glazed windows, and no wonder why we're lonely. And so it's kind of questioning that. And so the whole objective is that people will come and look at what that void is to them individually and what loneliness is, and hopefully it's a safe place, and there's going to be big paper banners up for you to write down what it is to you and see what is about other people. And the central piece is actually it's inspired by the film Avatar. Mm-hmm. And it's two eyes. Film. Yeah, the movie that is two eyes looking at each other, glass eyes. Right. Because it's like where it says "I see you."
Yes,
I see you, and that's actually the connection.
Intensive care unit.
Yeah.
No, that
could be. Could be.
There's actually a group of African American women that set up an organisation that I've worked with in the States, and it's very much they've gone back and looked at African philosophy and the way people connect with each other. And there's a thing very much, and I can't remember which language is Swahili, but they have a whole process that you go through, which is about seeing someone else.
Very important, yeah.
And it's interesting because when I saw the heading, I thought the glass work was about the void within the glass work itself. If you see what I'm saying?
It's a void within us.
Yes, okay.
Space.
Interesting, yes.
And what is it? And it's like, that void is, it's like asking, who am I? And we are our feelings. And what are those feelings? So I love philosophy, and my husband's a philosopher, and it's just this questioning, who am I? And that's what the sculpture's about. Hopefully people will leave feeling, wow, I learned something, I felt something here.
And are your pieces, are they things that you sell? I mean, can people buy pieces?
Yes, you can.
So because
murderers who want to use them.
Well, yeah, I mean, Chris has described them as these really big things. So are they things that like smaller things, or things that people take away?
Yeah, there are some smaller pieces, but this is just a body of work, which is predominantly. Yeah, there are smaller. Yeah, these are kind of miniature sculptures that you can commission me to make big ones of. So there's
it's beautiful. So it's actually jewellery as well.
Effective wearable sculptures.
Yeah. Excellent.
Fantastic. Funnily enough, on the question of voids, because we've all been involved in the housing world and the housing fights, to me a void means a house that hasn't got anyone in it, because that's what they say.
Like in Holland Park, you mean?
Yeah.
Just round the corner.
Well, there's too many houses without people in it.
Especially in Holland Park.
You say the eternal void, no, you don't, but Lao Tzu says the eternal void has infinite possibilities.
Yeah, because
What's
it's like, that's the void within you, with me, or with us all. What is that void? It's like, who am I?
Yeah.
And we've got the opportunity to be whatever we want. And I think loneliness sometimes shuts us down, but when we connect with others, then it kind of opens up that void, and we can express it into being whatever we want. Yeah, the void can be anything.
The void can be avoided.
It can be avoided, yeah.
Maybe it can't be avoided.
Guys, thank you so much. The show runs 15th of July to the 23rd of July. You can go late, actually, which might be rather nice. Walk in Holland Park.
It's gorgeous at the moment.
8 o'clock at night,
Absolutely
10
gorgeous.
10 a.m. to 8 p.m. What are your social media handles?
Instagram, Morgan Thomas Design, and there's a website, morganthomasdesign.com.
Great. So if you want a sneak preview of some of the stuff,
see me working on some heavy machinery, then look at the Instagram.
Oh, you're actually it's on the Instagram.
Yeah, I make it. Very heavy machinery.
When Catherine says she's on Grindr, it's not what you think.
I've got the biggest grinder in
Notting
Hill.
Right. It's a different meaning.
Fantastic. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Pleasure.
How do we find your work? Is it easy?
If I say my handle is on LinkedIn, everyone's going to groan, but that is where I'm off all
We're
socials.
grind.
I'm off all socials for mental health reasons. So
Anyway,
I'm all about LinkedIn. Chris Arning, come and send me a connection request. But I'm about to record Arning, like warning with a W off the beginning.
I like the
and
way
I'm
you
just
said
about
that.
to go
Wow,
and
like it.
record my EP. So
great.
hopefully Catherine will be helping me with that in the future.
I heard some of your music because I'm good mates with one of our mutual friends, and he played me a track only this week, just gone. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Genius,
Brilliant.
man.
Brilliant.
Genius. I mean, not only were
Genius.
the musicians fantastic, your voice was just amazing. I couldn't believe it.
We'll have to get
Thanks,
you back to release when you release your next single.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Embracing the Void, Ice House Gallery, Holland Park, 15th to 23rd of July.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Pleasure.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, sorry. It's episode 400. We're going to play one of our favourite tunes.
Can't fool myself, I don't want nobody else to ever love me. You are my shining star, my guiding light, my love fantasy. There's not a minute, hour, day or night that I don't love you. You're at the top of my list, cause I'm always thinking of you. I still remember in the days when I was scared to touch you, how I spent my day dreaming, planning how to say I love you. You must have known that I had feelings deep enough to swim in. That's when you opened up your heart and you told me to come in. Oh my love, 1,000 kisses from you is never too much. I just don't wanna stop. Oh my love, a million days in your arms is never too much. I just don't wanna stop. Too much, never too much, never too much, never too much. Woke up today, looked at your picture just to get me started. I called you up, but you weren't there, and I was broken hearted. Hung up the phone, can't be too late. The boss is so demanding. Open the door up, and to my surprise, there you were standing. Who needs to go to work to hustle for another dollar? I'd rather be with you, cause you make my heart scream and holler. Love is a gamble, and I'm so glad that I am winning. We've come a long way, and yet this is only the beginning. Oh my love, 1,000 kisses from you is never too much. I just don't wanna stop. Oh my love, a million
Amazing. What a tune, man.
Yeah, we let that go to the very end in honour of Dick O'Dell. Dick O'Dell, whose most recent show about folk is released tomorrow morning on Mixcloud.
That was quite a cracker, that one,
It was an
wasn't it?
absolute cracker. Do you remember when he said he was going to do folk?
And we all groaned.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Our
folk.
hearts fell.
But no,
it
actually,
came
banging.
on Sunday morning. It was a sunny day.
Wasn't it the best?
Absolutely gorgeous. So,
Yeah, it was brilliant.
as the sun's out over the next few days, we really urge you to, well, check out the whole of our Mixcloud. There's some amazing stuff there, but definitely check out
the folk show from Dick O'Dell.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, superb.
So, ISIS, we've got more. We just talked about Dave.
Sadly, we've got a very
more bad news.
Well, sadly, I mean, it's interesting because it's bad news on this realm. But if you practice spiritual systems, like myself, and in the way we look at it is that you are actually moving into another realm. So it's actually the ancestral realm. So one could look at it in two different ways. It's sad, but it's also a blessing.
Absolutely,
but sadly, in this realm, I've just found out that on Tuesday, the 4th of July, we lost Shabaka. He's known as Shabaka Thompson.
Shabaka Thompson, my
Shabaka
brother.
Thompson.
I used to work with him at the Tabernacle.
Well, all of you will know he passed away apparently on Tuesday in St. Lucia. It was they said it was a very sudden passing. He, of course, ran the Yar Santawa, which should be the actual name of the centre. And he also ran the Tabernacle for a number of years. He was at Yar first, and then he was at Tabernacle. A fellow Trinidadian like myself, Trini to the bone. In fact, we spent some good times in TNT together, and it's just really sad in the sense of he's not here anymore.
Yeah.
And sending blessings and condolences to his family, his friends and community, and of course, recognizing that he will rise in eternal greatness, as we always say.
No, I used to love jousting with Shabaka.
Especially if you're both Thompsons. How did that work?
Well, we were brothers. We used to embrace each other. But if you remember, there was that slightly ungainly collab when the Tab reopened in 2008, where James Milner, who ex-Navy officer, who was running this funny club off the Strand, was kind of managing the front of house, while at the same time Shabaka was running the Yard Carnival Village side of things. So it was this kind of unholy alliance. It lasted remarkably well, but James definitely wasn't good with money. Questionable whether Shabaka was. Anyway,
I mean, there's been lots of failures at the Tabernacle.
Yeah.
Let's not forget a few years ago under the current management, over 700, anyways, hundreds of thousands went missing somehow. So there's been a history,
everyone's
sadly.
done their best.
There's been a history. But the bottom line is that Shabaka did a lot. He not only was he director of Yar, and obviously he initiated the whole capital project for the Carnival Village. So as much as people may be, have whatever to say, he was the one who oversaw that whole Arts Council initiative, and also he was instrumental in forming the British Association of Carnival Calypsonians, now a CASA, and getting the London Calypso tent up and running. He was involved with many other Caribbean carnival arts projects across the UK and in Africa and in the Caribbean. So he did a lot for the community and for the art
Big
and the culture.
shout out, Shabaka. We love you.
We're just sending lots of love, and I just want to play something for him by a Trini. For a Trini.
It's a Trini ting.
Yes. So, of course, that was Mr. Strings. What was that? That was me, was it? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry
that
about
was a
that.
nasty noise
Yeah,
from
I'm
you.
sorry. That was YouTube. That's why I don't tend to use it, I must admit. But yeah, it's such a beautiful version of the.
Check it out. That is like Irish Trini music.
Well, it's by Efran Alves, called Overdue, which is a brand. And this guy, young Trini brother, Mr. Strings, he just does a violin version, electric violin, and it's beautiful because he's standing on the roof of a building in Port of Spain. So any Trini that knows Port of Spain, the moment you see, he's look, the red house there, and you see in the hills there in Belmont. So it's like home. So it's beautiful, and it's kind of like my tribute to Shabaka with home and everything.
Big shout to Shabaka.
Yeah, lots of love to his family, really, and his wife and his son, you know.
May he raise an eternal, hey?
Indeed.
Yeah, wicked, absolutely wicked.
So the summer continues apace. We had the art bus this weekend. We managed to do it without Gregsy.
Yeah, somehow.
Somehow it worked.
It was a miracle.
There were a few hairy moments when cables didn't quite fit into each other.
I know the one so well, man.
People were trying to ring Gregsy.
Yeah, no, and I picked up. I did pick up.
Well, you picked up at 1 o'clock, by which time we'd sorted it out. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
we were delighted to have Vestalia Chilton on board. Vestalia is the director of Kensington Chelsea Art Week, and without her energy, it wouldn't exist.
Absolutely.
And it does do an amazing job. Uniting north, south, east and west of the borough.
You know what? It's one of the few festivals we have in this borough that really does truly unite the Chelsea crew with the North Kensington crew. Yeah.
And the bus is the epitome of that because it goes round from the north. We went down through Frestonia to the Design Museum. We went off to South Ken, off to Sloane Square, along to World's End, up to Earl's Court.
You went World's End. Oh.
So, yeah.
Brilliant.
Manner. So we'd like to thank everyone who was complicit in creating the bus. We'd like to thank Amir, we'd like to thank Damien, we'd like to thank Vestalia, we'd like to thank the KCAW people, and we'd like to thank the fabulous crowd who came on board. And actually my favourite was the American woman, Chris, that we picked up in Ken High Street, who was kind of overjoyed. I did have one slight peculiar experience. We were parked outside the Design Museum. I was desperate for some water. So I went into Waitrose on Ken High Street.
Yeah.
And I got to the back where I thought the water was. It's actually where the beer was.
Possibly
a
funny
Freudian
that.
slip. And a little alarm goes off and suddenly all the staff say, we've got to evacuate. So
you nicked a beer
So
and
you
ran.
evacuated Waitrose on High Street Ken, basically?
I was evacuated from where, you know, it's not quite like some kid being evacuated from Bethnal Green to Cornwall in 1939, but, you know.
But you got kicked out of Waitrose. Well, that's an accolade.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well,
Absolutely
it's fun
brilliant.
enough. We've had problems with supermarkets on both the last two buses, because one before we went into a Tesco's where you had to actually put your credit card into an app before you were allowed to buy any things. So
that is the ushering in the end of society.
There's a lesson there. Always shop in independent outlets.
Asheo.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, the week goes on. We're excited to say that Trellick 51 is back. But it's not really back. It was Trellick 50 last year. Now it's Trellick 51.
Amazing.
So it's an entirely, completely different thing. It has no correlation to the 50th.
Well, it's a year later.
I think it's probably going to be exactly the same, but better.
Yeah,
man.
And it's culminating, as it did last year, in a big day on the 15th of July, out there at the beach. We've got the signage up there. If you go up to the roundabout up there by Trellick, there are huge signs pointing out how to get there, because last year some people said they couldn't find their way.
I was going to
in.
go into a bit of depth there. What we refer to as the beach is a little
Basketball
quadrangle
course.
in the back of the Trellick
The
Tower.
basketball
So if you
court.
go up the Goulburn Road to the mini roundabout just over the railway bridge, do a right, and then immediately on your left there's a ramp going down.
Yeah, and there
That's
are
what you
huge
want to hit, man.
signs saying "Come down here," which we didn't have last year.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, that's where you're looking for. Goulburn Road, Elkstone Road. It's just off the beginning of Elkstone Road.
Anyway, so last year there were two events, Trellick 50. One was the Free Festival on the 15th of July. We'll come back to that in a minute. The other one was later in the year, and it involved a free film festival.
Brilliant.
In cahoots, obviously, with Portobello Film Festival.
Gorgeous.
Faye, who's in the studio, big up to Faye. Faye and I interviewed primary school children in an extraordinary and exhilarating lunchtimes every day.
Quite windy with them. What do you call
the
them?
tower block
coders.
winds.
Yeah, exactly. The tent
Those
you're
of us who
under.
live near
And of course, the highlight would have
lifting
been the curated Dystonian films that myself, JC
Well,
Kamau Jr. and Toby did.
Amazing.
Can we just get back to the...
And this is on a big screen that they put
so
up at the back
this
there.
year
Yeah.
it's all been put together. So the Trellick 51 actually starts on Monday, and as Isis so wisely said, there are every day starting Monday at 3:30, going through till 9:30. There's a kind of 3-part harmony.
So what's happening?
Oh, good question, Faye.
Yes, please answer that.
At 3:30, after school finishes, if the teachers aren't on strike, and big up to the teachers at Holland Park. Sorry, Palmyra, we didn't come down to interview everyone. At 3:30, you've got a family cinema after school. And I, in a minute, will get you the films that we're showing. Then you're going to have, at about 5:30, you're going to have films, local films from JB and the Portobello Film Festival. And then around 7:30, there will be an evening feature film. Like I said, I'll do some more research in a second, and we'll come back to you with the actual films and the actual days. Then Saturday, it switches to the Big Free Festival. There is fresh local food. You've got the live graffiti artists, spelt wrong on the flyer, I have to say. You've got live theatre. There's a T-shirt creating workshop. Do you remember how
Live
that worked?
theatre?
Yeah.
What
I
time?
think that's Spid. Spid, who appeared obviously at the festival, a small
What time
event.
of day is theatre?
Don't know. We're going to get on the website actually any second now. And then we've got a stage that we're curating, Gregsy. We've got. Sorry, this. I'm hoping for a bit more energy from my co-presenters.
So you remember last year you guys did that awesome event with live music, and
That's the one we're talking about. It's next Saturday.
Oh.
On the 15th. And again, we have Low Key. Low Key is on at 5. Again, we have the Metronomes. The Metronomes are on at 4. And it's their 50th anniversary, Greg, isn't it?
Yes.
It's their 50th anniversary, and their fight goes on at Meanwhile Gardens, but that's something for another day. At 6 p.m, we have KJ. Kendall KJ was in the studio 2 or 3 weeks ago talking about melodica blues. KJ and Natural Vibe, and you know that 6 p.m, that is going to be a reggae sing-along. All your favourite tunes. Oh, there's a film crew walking past.
Perfect.
We've also got Chrome playing, we've got Alessana playing, we've got Omar playing, Omar from Lank West, who last year did 2072 Doves, and he's going to do that again. It's going to be a brilliant day out.
So am I playing some music?
Yeah,
from
play a
you?
tune. 'Cause I'm
So
gonna
this
try-
one is a London ting, and this is a newish one for my nephew Rago Zulu Rebel, and of course I will be doing an event with him on the 22nd. I'll tell you a little bit more about that.
Is he really your
It's a London thing. Yeah, massive. It's a London thing. Big up all my young princes and kings. Big up all the big dons locked in the bing on the wing, banging doors if it's still locked in. With the first bricks there in the Pentonville. All my single mamas with the rent and bills. Young girls in the college trying to get them skills. With it in the flats and the 10-inch chills. It's a London thing that's got Garcia. Worldwide, they all wanna try beers. Next time we're on the ends, pop by sales. In the Uber, 5-star prayers. Yo, we got the Gallimaleers and prayers. Shanique, Alicia, Nadine and Tears. Labrador to London feels. It's a London team that's got Garcia. All my London queens. Left your mama, from you were just 16. Now you're done a big woman and your lifestyle clean. Nobody can slander your name, what you mean? London girls in the surrounding towns. Let me show the whole country how we get down. And then we go whenever out of bounds. And the Sterling and we're carrying pounds. It's a London team that's got Garcia. Worldwide. sales. Scott in the Uber, 5-star prayers. Yo, we got the gal in my layers and prayers. Shanique, what Alicia, Nadine and tears. Labrador to London feels. It's a London team, let's go Garcia. London team, let's go Garcia. They all want the beers, but they got no idea. How it really goes right now. Never sniff coke and we don't drink beer. The whole world term when London starts there. The city is the front city, can't park here. Black cabs and double-decker bus. Bems and Bim, I never drive Lexus. It's a London team, let's go Garcia. Worldwide, they all wanna try beers. Next time you're on the ends, pop by sales. Scott in the Uber, 5-star prayers. Yo, we got the gal in my layers and prayers. Shanique, what Alicia, Nadine and tears. Labrador to London feels. It's a London thing, let's go Garcia. It's an old Netflix show, old school live pirate radio. It's the only way we know since Nokia face off on pays ago. Pay shops and office, boss man think the cigarette and coffee. But when I know when I pet nobody, some of them are trying them a carbon copy. It's a London team, let's go Garcia. Worldwide they wanna try beers. Next time you're on the ends, pop by Sears. Scott in the Uber, 5-star prayers. Yo, we got the gal in my layers and prayers. Shanique, what Alicia, Nadine and tears. Labrador to London feels. It's a London thing, let's go Garcia. It's a London thing, let's go Garcia. If you're from the east, you're better ball and cheer. It's a London thing, let's go Garcia. All my dogs on the north side, ball and cheer. It's a London thing, let's go Garcia. Everybody down south got a ball and cheer. It's a London thing, let's go Garcia. If you're rest of the west, better ball and cheer. It's a London thing, let's go Garcia. If you're from New and better ball and cheer. It's a London thing, let's go Garcia. The only little wish of my all ball and cheer. It's a London thing, let's go Garcia. Halston, Wilston, ball and cheer. It's a London thing, let's go Garcia. Brixton, limit your ball and cheer. Limit your ball and cheer. String on, limit your ball and cheer. Western, limit your ball and cheer. Hammersmith, limit your ball and cheer. Shepherd Bush, limit your ball and cheer. Stonebridge, limit your ball and cheer. Redbridge, limit your, oh yeah.
Yes, that's
Wow.
London Ting by none other than Rago Zulu Rebel, who of course has performed up there for the event that we did with the Muse Gallery on the 6th of May, the Not My King, as I called it. And he's been on the bus.
Wow.
On our art bus and performed. So yeah, he's one of the crew.
He is definitely one of the
East London
crew.
fam.
Love it. Absolutely love it. He is a performer. Check him out on Instagram and on YouTube.
Rago Zulu Rebel, RZR.
Yeah, man. Top geezer. Mental. Absolutely mental. And I didn't know he was related to you, albeit non-blood, but he is related nonetheless.
He is blood.
Yeah.
Blood.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Amazing. Amazing work.
All right, so we've done our research and we can tell you exactly which films are on next week. So Monday...
This is for the Portobello Film Festival.
This is for the Trellick 51 / Portobello Film Festival at 3:30 on Monday. That's the 10th of July. Happy Feet.
Oh, bro.
It's 5:30.
Penguin stuff.
Yeah. It's a fabulous
Penguin
film.
stuff.
It's absolutely brilliant. In the evening at 7:30, after some various bits of Portobello Film Festival, including Ebony Steel Band, we got Sugarman in the evening on Monday. On Tuesday in the evening, we have The Commitments. On Wednesday in the evening, we have 8 Mile, a film I voted for.
Oh, brilliant.
On Thursday, we have The Harder They Come. And on Friday, we have The Blues Brothers.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
the kids' film that day is School of Rock. So I can see a lot of people getting down there at 3:30 and just staying all day.
Sounds mental.
We're almost at the end of the show. We better
We are.
mention what's going on tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's
what's-
the second weekend.
Yeah, man.
We have shaken up the order a little bit, Greg.
Yeah, I noticed. It's good. It's good. It looks
Well,
fab.
I just
Absolutely
thought,
fab.
you know, it's the summer. Let's shake things up. So
Yeah.
we have kept Mick Robinson at 2:00 and
Amazing.
Charlie Forbes at 3 because Charlie's blues show is getting really quite it's getting a big audience.
He's
these days.
spectacular,
Loads of
man. It's
people
really
love
good.
it.
It's a great show. Tune in for that one. And Monty Platters all the way up from Be Right on Brighton,
And
Sussex
if
on
you're
the
listening,
south
Mick,
coast.
we promise we're coming down to Shorts to do a Saturday
Yeah,
session.
man. I
It's
nearly
live.
went in this weekend, just gone, but I didn't quite get as far
Kemptown.
east as Brighton. We were Worthing End. We were the other side. But no, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and Charlie Forbes again, absolute rockin'. Love it, love
At
it.
4 o'clock, we have Lilybud.
Yay!
For a weekend.
Amazing.
At 5 o'clock, DJ for Blue. We've managed to
Yeah.
drag her away from the intense number of festivals she's doing.
Yeah, she's getting about that one.
She really is getting
Yeah.
about all over town, from Brick Lane to Hounslow to,
Hounslow?
Hounslow, yeah, man, why not?
At 6, fresh back from Modcast Mallorca, Liam Tuke, the
Yay.
original Soul Boy sessions.
Brilliant.
I really urge you to. We put up one slightly out of order onto the Mixcloud. It's all soul, that one. It's an absolute cracker.
Mental.
7 o'clock, of course, Jez Harkin with all that's going on in New York.
Yeah, man, from across the pond.
And DJ Minna, I mean, she's such a sensation. She's about to play on August the 5th with Dimitri from Paris on the
Yay.
roof of the Prince of Wales.
Mental.
So
She's
she
gonna be out there.
started here first.
She did.
She smashed it at Coco. She smashed it at Houghton.
She smashed it at Carnival last year.
She's
on
played
our
with
sound.
Louis Vega. She's about to play with Dimitri at Paris. She's on at 8. Her podcasts have finally caught fire. She was number 1 in all sorts of charts. So tune in every Saturday from 2 o'clock till late to Portobello Radio Saturday session.
Yeah, man. Now, this show is on Friday, every Friday afternoon, live from the Muse Gallery on the Portobello Road. That's 269.
Next week will be 401.
And next week will be number 401. Indeed, this was episode 400. What? My goodness, how old are we? On Saturday, we repeat the show at midday. So tune in again. If you're just tuned in right now and you've missed all of the excitements and fun of this wonderful show, then tune in again on Saturday at midday. And on Sunday at 10 a.m., man. Yeah, and then following that, of course, is the repeat of what we did on Wednesday with the
Portobello Talk Radio.
Yeah, Portobello Talk Radio season that again has been going for 8 years. We'll start at 10 a.m. with this show, and then at midday, Aidan McManus returns. He's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant, with our old favourite, the soul father of Portobello Road, Mr. David Ayling. And they discuss a new release, a 3 CD release from Cherry Red Records, and it's called Deviation Street, and it's a collection of rather obscure hippie shit that came from round here.
Yeah,
and it is
back
brilliant.
around 1970.
Pink Fairies,
Quintessence,
yeah, Tyrannosaurus Rex. I mean, it's just brilliant.
To be taken with Aidan also posted someone's done a brand new AI generated version of Getting It Straight in Notting Hill Gate.
Brilliant, another one.
YouTube, which is absolutely fantastic. And of course, Tom Vade continues to pump out the history of the local area. Just follow him on Facebook or whatever else.
Yeah, man, he writes some brilliant articles. He really does, man. So there you go. You get all your excitement here on Portobello Radio.
And also, don't forget, next Wednesday is on Resistance Street, what used to be Clash Fans Against the Right. They are talking, Louise and Robin are talking to Vic Goddard.
No way! Brilliant.
Is Vic there? Is Vic there? Subway Sex, that fantastic song. And old Obituary of the Warwick Castle.
Amazing.
From the mid-80s.
It's going to be proper punk rock, that, I tell you, proper punk rock.
And then Thursday, of course, is Bright Side of the Road.
Which is proper Irish.
Shay is back from Dublin and has got loads of good stuff.
Amazing. It's going to be a rocking week
and
this
then
week coming.
Friday, 4 o'clock.
We're back here again, sat on these very seats and YouTubing. Guys, you can look us up on YouTube too. So, brill.
And that is
Absolutely
that'll be
brill.
month 73 since the fire.
Wow. Blimey.
And of course,
Alrighty.
if you want to take a little break, you can always tune in to Ferrety Radio between 4 and 6 when I, the Eclectic Goddess, will be just playing some beautiful music.
Wicked.
Keeping it
Absolutely
eclectic,
wicked.
keeping it engaging.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Here you go. Are you going to do the last tune? Yeah. So we're celebrating our 40th anniversary, or 400th show, should I say. Here on Portobello Radio, it's the Portobello Radio Show, live and direct from the Portobello Road every Friday.
This is your celebration. Celebrate. Celebrate good times. Come on. Let's celebrate. There's a party going on right here.
Radio. Ladbroke Road's finest.